Hello and welcome to a brand new episode of Health 360. We're coming to you from Delhi's India Gate, and this time around, as always, we've put together a set of stories for you, stories that matter to all of us. This has got to do with health, fitness and wellness. But we are in Delhi, and when it comes to health, what other issue than air pollution? This is something that we can't lose sight of, and that's the reason why Health 360 once again has decided to put the spotlight on the issue of air pollution. Now, I am at India Gate, and not too far away from me is the Parliament House in the national capital, where attempts are being made by the opposition to build pressure on the government and the Parliament to discuss air pollution. It affects all of us. Now, when it comes to Delhi, it's not just air pollution. This time around, we've gone ahead and focused on another issue, that of uranium contamination in Delhi's groundwater. We've also traveled to the Aravalis in the outskirts of Faridabad in the national capital region, telling you a little about why a Supreme Court order is all set to redefine what the Aravalis, the lungs of India, of this particular region really are, and how that is going to only create more problems as far as air pollution is concerned in the Delhi NCR region. I'm Sneha Mordani. This is Health 360. Let's begin this edition with the headlines. The World Health Organization has issued new guidelines recommending the use of GLP-1 drugs for treating obesity. The United Nations Health Agency has made two key recommendations. First, that GLP-1 therapies may be used for adults for long-term treatment of obesity, except for pregnant women. It's also recommended intensive behavioral therapy, including changes related to diet and exercise, alongside the use of the medications. Cancer cases have surged in the country. The Indian Council of Medical Research has informed that as per the National Cancer Registry Program, the estimated incidence of cancer cases in the country for 2024 is over 15,000. Delhi alone has seen 28,000 new cases, the government has informed Rajya Sabha. Union Health Minister J.P. Nadda has told the Parliament that India's doctor population ratio has improved to 1:811, way better than the World Health Organization advised 1:1000. But this may not be the best news because this number is misleading. Registered doctors don't equate to practicing doctors. Health Ministry report from November 2024 listing all registered allopathic doctors state-wise shows historical registrations, which means many of them have retired, emigrated or hold duplicate registrations. Ayush and MBBS qualifications are also not considered at the same level. The national 1:811 doctor count includes Ayush. Over 2 lakh cases of acute respiratory illnesses has been reported between 2022 and 2024 in Delhi. New government data has indicated. The Health Ministry has responded to a question in Rajya Sabha calling air pollution a major triggering factor for respiratory disease. The Rajya Sabha figures came from the National Centre for Disease Control that tracks pollution-related illnesses through selected monitoring hospitals. The data shared focuses on 6 such sites in Delhi. Australia's top drug regulator has issued a fresh safety warning about the potential risk of suicidal thoughts and behavioral changes linked to the use of GLP-1 weight loss therapies, medicines that have surged in global demand for treating obesity. In a safety alert released on the 1st of December, the Therapeutic Goods Administration announced updated product warning for GLP-1 medicines to ensure consistent guidance on the possible risk of mood-related side effects. A recent order from the Supreme Court of India is all set to redefine what the Aravalis mountain ranges really are. It could potentially mean the beginning of construction activity, even mining, at the foothills of the Aravalis. Now, this has sparked off concerns as far as the ecology is concerned. Not just that. Remember that the Aravalis act as the lungs of the Delhi NCR region and pretty much of this entire stretch, because it prevents sandstorms from impacting Delhi and the NCR's air quality. What are environmentalists working in this direction have to say about this order from the Supreme Court that has redefined the Aravallis, which is going to allow all of this construction activity in this particular region, essentially killing a chunk of the mountains in this region. This is deeply problematic. We traveled to the Aravallis mountain ranges to get a sense of what its importance really is and how this is going to have a deep bearing on Delhi's air quality. It is often said the Delhi NCR region suffers bad air because of its geographical location. It is landlocked. This region also has an advantage. It's flanked by the Aravallis. Well, right behind me, just over there is the mighty Aravallis, considered one of the oldest mountain ranges in the world. And this is extremely important for the Delhi National Capital Region. This is essentially Faridabad, which is in NCR. And the reason why we're talking about Aravallis is because of these mountain ranges that Delhi NCR's weather conditions are regulated. Essentially, it acts as a climatic buffer, and because of the Aravallis, dust storms in Delhi can be regulated to a great extent, which of course we know contributes to air pollution. It actually slows the movement of dust and sand from the Thar Desert into the Indo-Gangetic plains. Ridges as low as 20 to 30 meters, even they are effective in controlling air pollution in this region. What they do is that they moderate air pollution, enable groundwater recharge and sustain wildlife movement, especially around Gurugram, Faridabad, Alwar and parts of Rajasthan. The reason why you're here is because of an order from the Supreme Court of India from the 21st of November, which has got environmentalists and activists extremely worried about the future of the Aravallis. The Supreme Court's order, in effect, has given permission to mining in many of these low-lying areas at the foothills of the Aravallis, redefining what the mountains really are, which means if there is construction activity at the foothills of the mountains, in the low-lying areas, that would interfere with the ecosystem and the ecological balance in a big way. The court has directed the centre to prepare a sustainable mining management plan and barred the issuance of new mining leases until the mapping is completed. The Aravallis are known as the green lungs of the country, and this order from the Supreme Court of India is going to have a deep bearing on what really the Aravallis are. It's actually going to shrink Aravallis by a staggering 90% if you were to go by the new definition which was suggested by the Environment Ministry and accepted by the Supreme Court. And this is going to have a deep impact on Delhi's air quality, National Capital Region's air quality as well. Well, experts fear that applying the 100-meter rule beyond mining could weaken protection for these landscapes. From Aravallis in Haryana alone, the estimate is that 95% of Gurugrams and 90% of Faridabad's Aravallis would not qualify under the new definition, potentially opening them to real estate and infrastructure pressure.
अरावली रेंज के लिए एक डेफिनेशन उन्होंने दी है कि कोई भी जो अरावली की एक पहाड़ी से दूसरी पहाड़ी का जो डिस्टेंस है, अगर वो 500 मीटर या उससे कम है तो अरावली मानी जाएगी। पूरी अरावली रेंज लगभग 750 किलोमीटर में प्रोटेक्ट करती है पूरे एनसीआर को, अपने इस एरिया को, उस डस्ट को यहाँ तक आने के लिए। अच्छा। अगर अरावली नहीं रहेगी तो जैसे रेगिस्तान धीरे धीरे बढ़ रहा है, ये एरिया भी बिल्कुल पूरी तरह से डस्ट में तब्दील हो जाएगा।
The Aravalli Hills are crucial for Delhi's air quality by acting as a natural barrier that blocks fine particles like PM 2.5 and heavier sand. They also serve as a vital wildlife corridor. This is a natural defense. It's essential for mitigating pollution that is choking the Delhi NCR region. Well, scientists argue that if you alter the lower ridges, you're going to invite desertification in this entire region. Also, that's going to interfere with wildlife movement, and that is going to be ecologically a big disaster. Now, it's not just the dirty air in Delhi. A report has indicated that Delhi's groundwater is heavily contaminated with uranium. Now, uranium in breast milk in Bihar very recently has caused fair amount of anxiety and worry, and rightfully so. Now in Delhi, the groundwater containing uranium above the permissible limits has also caused fair amount of concern. So what is this really about? What are experts advising? What are doctors saying about the adverse effects it could have on all of us, on the people consuming groundwater? And what could be the possible solutions? We explore in this report. PM 2.5 and PM 10 in the air, chemical foam in the river, and now uranium in groundwater. Delhi city is dealing with not one but multiple health challenges. Across Delhi, thousands of households still depend on borewell and tubewell water for daily use. But recent groundwater studies show that in some pockets of the city, uranium levels are higher than the safe drinking water limit. The capital city had the third largest share of uranium-contaminated groundwater samples in the country in 2024, with readings above the Bureau of Indian Standards limit of 30 parts per billion in both pre- and post-monsoon testing, the Central Groundwater Board's annual groundwater quality report has shown. Uranium enters water naturally through rocks and soil. But in Delhi, experts say over-extraction of groundwater may be worsening this problem, causing minerals to dissolve more readily into the water aquifers.
ये आप यहाँ पे देखेंगे, मैं यमुना जी के किनारे हूँ और मैंने ये पानी यहाँ पे उठाया।
हाँ।
आप यहाँ पे देखेंगे ये पानी आपको बहुत गंदा लगेगा
जी।
और आप देख के समझ जाएंगे कि ये पानी गंदा है, हमें ये पानी नहीं पीना चाहिए।
जी।
पर यूरेनियम के साथ प्रॉब्लम ये है कि यूरेनियम जिस पानी में मिक्स होगा, क्योंकि वो डिजॉल्व फॉर्म में होता है, हाँ, वो दिखेगा नहीं।
WHO का क्या कहना है, क्या है परमिसिबल लिमिट और क्या वरी है, क्या कंसर्न है?
देखिए, अभी जो यूरेनियम का
जी।
मैटर आया है, यूरेनियम का जो है टोटल से जो सैम्पलिंग हुई थी ग्राउंड वाटर की, वो 86 सैम्पलिंग हुई थी, जिनमें से 11 में प्री मानसून में यूरेनियम पाया गया था और पोस्ट मानसून में 13 में। तो अगर हम इसको परसेंटेज में देखें तो टोटल जो सैम्पलिंग हुई थी उनमें 15.6% सैंपल में यूरेनियम जो परमिसिबल लिमिट है BIS का 30 माइक्रोग्राम पर लीटर का, उससे ज़्यादा पाया गया है। यूरेनियम बढ़ने का एक कारण होता है, एक तो है कि नेचुरल जो है अर्थ के क्रस्ट में ये मेटल्स पाए जाते हैं, और उसका कारण ये होता है कि जब हम ओवर एक्सट्रैक्शन करते हैं ग्राउंड वाटर का तो डाइल्यूशन कम होती है।
अच्छा।
तो यूरेनियम जो है मात्राएं जो है बढ़ जाती हैं।
So how does uranium affect your kidneys? Now, uranium is nephrotoxic, meaning it can damage the kidneys. It disrupts the kidney tubules, impairs reabsorption of water, glucose, electrolytes, and secretion of waste, affecting hydration, electrolyte balance, and waste removal. Accumulation of uranium can cause tubular cell death and inflammation, contributing to CKD or chronic kidney disease. Uranium causes oxidative stress, DNA damage, and cell death in kidney cells. Exposure increases urine alkaline, LDH, and raises serum creatinine.
If the water starts getting contaminated and there is extra load on the kidneys to filter this contaminated water with heavy metals, it adds to the number of problems our body is dealing with and actually amplifies the concern being caused by pollution already. Since kidneys are associated in filtering the uranium out of our body, it can get accumulated in kidneys, causing damage to kidneys. It can get deposited in other major organs also, and it can actually alter the cellular function, giving rise to a higher risk of cancers.
Some of the areas flagged off includes parts of North Delhi, Narela, Kanjhawala, southwest Delhi, and nearby rural belts. In several samples, levels exceeded 30 micrograms per litre, the accepted safety threshold. Nationally, the problem is more severe in Punjab, where 62% of samples breach safe limits in the post-monsoon period. 53% were contaminated before the monsoon. Other hotspots include Rajasthan, Chandigarh, and Chhattisgarh.
अब ये पानी आप देखेंगे मैम, ये पानी आपको एकदम क्लीन लग रहा है, हाँ, इसमें आपको कोई भी पार्टिकल्स मूव करते हुए नजर नहीं आएंगे। पर अब ये पानी साफ है, लोगों को लगेगा कि ये पानी हम पी सकते हैं क्योंकि गंदा दिख नहीं रहा है,
बिल्कुल।
पर इसमें प्रॉब्लम है कि इनमें यूरेनियम कंटामिनेशन हो सकता है क्योंकि वो डिजॉल्व फॉर्म में होते हैं तो वो आपको दिखेगा नहीं। और यूरेनियम जो है वो ऑर्डरलेस, टेस्टलेस एंड कलरलेस होता है। हमें अभी रियल रीज़न जानना होगा यूरेनियम कंटामिनेशन बढ़ क्यों रहा है। हाँ, क्या सॉइल में यूरेनियम है फर्टिलाइजर्स की वजह से, या वो लीच कर रहा है, या ग्राउंड वाटर ओवर एक्सप्लॉइटेशन है, क्या क्रस्ट से आ रहा है। तो फर्स्ट हमें एक स्टेप और लेना पड़ेगा कि हमें सॉइल टेस्ट करनी चाहिए कि क्या सॉइल में यूरेनियम है या नहीं। उनके बाद जो है अगर सॉइल में है तो हमें देखना पड़ेगा जो हमारा जो फर्टिलाइज़र है, जो फास्फेट बेस्ड फर्टिलाइज़र वो चेंज करे। अगर ग्राउंड वाटर में पाया जा रहा है, क्रस्ट में है, तो हमें देखना पड़ेगा कि ओवर एक्सप्लॉइटेशन जो है ग्राउंड वाटर का नहीं होना चाहिए। उनमें जितना हम उनमें पानी डाल रहे हैं, जितना उनमें रिचार्ज हो रहा है, उतना ही या उससे कम निकालें।
Experts recommend reverse osmosis and periodic testing, especially in areas where contamination has been recorded.
Whenever we are using unfiltered groundwater or we are using deep borewell water, it is very important to filter it so that uranium is taken out of the water and we are relatively safe. Reverse osmosis is a very, very significant way in which we can treat the drinking water so that uranium does not contaminate our bodies. It is able to take out 90 to 99% of uranium from the water, but it is very important to service the reverse osmosis machines properly. Otherwise, ineffective reverse osmosis does not adequately prevent us from the hazards of uranium toxicity.
Uranium contamination in groundwater in Delhi is actually the third highest in the country now. But this is the water that our cattle are consuming. Cattle meaning milk. That's the water that is being used to grow our crops. Essentially, that's the food, fruits, vegetables that we are consuming. So this is about contamination and poisoning at a very larger level. Now, as of now, there is no need to panic is what authorities have said. Dealing with the problem to reduce this contamination so that the adverse impact on our health, our kidney health, our bone health is minimized to a great extent. Well, there have been several protests in Delhi focusing on the problem of air pollution. This time, the parliament session is underway and activists, concerned citizens are worried and anxious about the fact, also angry, that the government, the parliamentarians are not really addressing this issue, not giving them a hearing and looking the other way when it comes to the problem of dirty air. There was a protest earlier this week in Delhi's Jantar Mantar. I was there. Here's what I found. These are the voices from the crowd. An oxygen cylinder, an air purifier, and then these placards. These protesters are doing what they can to raise an issue that they've been trying to raise for days, weeks, and months together, that there is no respite when it comes to Delhi's dirty air. Not just the poor, but even the rich, even the middle class, women, children, men, everyone is affected by the issue of dirty air, by this problem of dirty air. And that's a concern that is being voiced by these protesters. The government, of course, continues to say that they're doing what they can to improve the situation. Fair amount of blame game is also on. Upset over the comments that were also made by the Prime Minister, talking about enjoying Delhi's winter, essentially saying that the winter means 500 plus AQI. So what are you asking us to enjoy is the question that these protesters are asking. Once again, in Delhi's Jantar Mantar area, where is our Environment Minister? Missing in action. आँख में क्यों पट्टी बांध रखी है?
मैम, मैं एक सरकार के तौर पे, एक ऑफिसर के तौर पे पोर्ट्रे कर रहा हूँ, जिसमें लग रहा है कि जनता इतनी डिमांड कर रही है पिछले कई महीनों से, लेकिन कोई सख्त कदम नहीं उठाया जा रहा है, तो सरकार पट्टी बांध के ही बैठी है।
What are your concerns?
Well, I live in South Delhi. I've no idea if it's any better there or not. Yeah. I think we should have been out on the streets many years ago, holding the government accountable, at the same time answering to ourselves as well, changing our behavior.
There's no point being fourth largest economy, third largest economy. That's not a big deal for us. And it's not a big deal for the people working on the streets and everything. The biggest deal is give them good, clean air and water.
think as citizens, as mothers, parents, we were very hopeful. We were quite sure actually that the ruling party will take this up on the first day of the parliament. But unfortunately, that didn't happen. And when the leader of opposition, etc., have taken it up, they've still not, kind of joined in. Citizens are here, watching, waiting, pleading. There is no choice. Our children are, as you know, we are all, with the same boat. Nobody will escape this, and the damage is being done.
The government is scared. Uh, they realized this long time ago. That is why the Swachh Bharat agenda which they had, we don't even hear about it. I think it's been 10 years since we spoke about Swachh Bharat. But I think the bigger story is that North India is not fit for human habitation anymore. If you continue to live here and work here and send your children to school here, it's going to be a country of very, very sick people.
Now, we often get this question from a lot of people who say, and ask us rather, that how do we really work around this dirty air? What do we eat? Does the N95 mask really work? Are air purifiers really a scam? What about indoor air pollution? How can we really control that? Now, because these are common questions that are getting asked in the dirty air month, so to speak, we decided to go ahead and explore what could be the possible solutions that will help you live a little more comfortably and work around your life around this dirty air situation that a chunk of people living in urban metros, in urban centers have really found themselves in, not just in Delhi. Here's your practical guide on how to deal with air pollution when there isn't really a long-term solution in sight. Here's more. Delhi ki sardi has been romanticized so often, hasn't it been? Well, yes, it is about the garam chai, the beautiful warm clothes, the time that we spend under the sun and a host of other things that we do to enjoy the winters. But in recent years, there's been another narrative as well, that of dirty, filthy air. And the most frequent question that we all get asked, it's got to do with how do we really work our lives around this dirty air? What can we do to help ourselves? What are the precautionary steps that we should take? So we're going to be telling you all about how you can help your situation. It's a practical guide to survive Delhi's air pollution. Let's begin by telling you about this. The N95 mask, you should keep one handy at all times. Your surgical mask, your face covers, your cloth mask, nothing works. Only an N95 or a good KN99 mask is what comes in handy. So these are the essential combinations. Vitamin C plus vitamin E, strong antioxidant duo. Curcumin helps lower inflammation. Quercetin reduces oxidative stress. Beta-carotene guards against cellular damage. Sulforaphane, broccoli sprouts, supports detox pathways. Other key supplements are B-complex vitamins, boost energy and immunity. Vitamin D, increase the intake on high pollution days. Omega-3 fish oil reduces inflammation. NAC, which is N-acetylcysteine, supports lung function. CoQ10 improves cellular oxygenation. Well, it's often said that food is medicine, and for people living in Delhi NCR, that really is very true. You should be treating your food like medicine because some food items do have benefit over others when it comes to dealing with air pollution, improving your blood flow and oxygen flow into your body, hence helping you in this difficult period. Well, these food items are turmeric, lemon, avocado, fruits like kiwis and pomegranate, nuts, green leafy vegetables and beet. All of these food items, including food items like garlic, will go a long way in helping you and boosting your immunity during this difficult period. So it's it's a myth really that if you're inside the house or if you're in office, then the air is clean. The fact of the matter is that indoor air pollution is a less talked about problem. But there is indoor air pollution. And we all have to make an effort to keep the air inside clean as well as outside. So when you're inside the house, you certainly have to invest in a good humidifier and an air purifier. These aren't luxuries anymore. These are essentials. Also, indoor plants like Areca palm, aloe vera, snake plant, all of these actually go a long way in helping the air, your ambient air clean within your premises, inside the house or in your office. So while at home, avoid lighting candles and also try and do away with artificial air fresheners. They really aren't good as far as your air is concerned. Instead, when the air is better, try ventilating the house. Also, we're already breathing so many cigarettes in Delhi even without smoking a cigarette. That's the amount of smoke we all really inhale. So why smoke then? Or why vape? Don't do these things. That really is going to go a long way in helping your situation. Well, that brings us to the end of this edition of Health 360. You can catch this report and much more on air pollution and all the news around health and wellness that affects all of us up on India Today's website. That's indiatoday.in. As far as our show Health 360 is concerned, our hashtag is Health 360, Health 360 Plus. Do not forget to like, subscribe and share. All these reports are going up on all of India Today's social media platforms. That's Instagram, Twitter or X, Facebook and of course YouTube. Until next time, take very good care of yourself. Bye for now.